Stacey King. Stacey King death at 59. Three-time NBA champion and beloved broadcaster Stacey King has died, the Chicago Bulls announced Sunday, June 7. King was 59 years old. In a statement on social media, Bulls owner Jerry Reinsdorf said Stacey King was a cherished member of the Bulls family and one of the truly unique personalities in our organization's history. His connection to Chicago, the Bulls and our fans spanned more than 3 decades, first as a player and later as the unmistakable voice that helped bring Bulls basketball into the homes of generations of fans. We will miss him deeply and remember the joy, energy, humor, candor, and passion he brought to our organization, our broadcasts, and our fans every day. Our thoughts are with his family and loved ones. King played 8 seasons in the NBA and averaged 6.4 points and 3.3 rebounds. In addition to the Bulls, King also played for the Minnesota Timberwolves, Miami Heat, Boston Celtics and Dallas Mavericks. King was the 6th pick in the 1989 draft out of Oklahoma. His connection to the city of Chicago is undeniable, as he was not only beloved as a player, but as the team's color commentator for nearly 20 years. Stacey loved being a Bull, Bulls president and CEO Michael Reinsdorf said in a statement. You could feel it in everything he did, the way he played, the way he called games and the way he connected with our fans. He had a unique gift for bringing people together and making every game feel personal. He brought an energy and love for the game that came through in every broadcast, helping fans feel connected to our team. Whether it was through a broadcast, a conversation, or a photo with a fan, Stacey made people feel seen and valued. We were fortunate to know him not only as a player and broadcaster, but as a friend. Stacey genuinely cared about people, and he made our organization better. We will miss him dearly, and his impact, memory and legacy will remain a part of the Chicago Bulls forever. Information regarding the specifics of King's death have yet to be disclosed. Wilma Tisch. Wilma Tisch dies at 98. Billy Tisch, the last of the original 4 family members whose philanthropic legacy endures in the prominent educational, cultural and medical institutions that bear their surname, as well as in their prodigious fundraising for Jewish social service agencies that have anonymously sustained countless New Yorkers, died on Sunday at her home in Manhattan. She was 98. Her death was confirmed by her son Thomas Tisch. Mrs. Tisch was the widow of Lawrence A. Tisch. Mr. Tisch and his brother, Preston Robert Tisch, became self-made billionaires by transforming a kosher hotel in Lakewood, NJ, into the bargain-hungry Lowe's Corporation, a conglomerate that began as a movie theater chain and now has investments in hotels, drilling, natural gas pipelines, insurance and packaging. Forbes magazine has estimated the family's fortune at $10 billion. Since the death of her sister-in-law, Joan Tisch, in 2017, Billy Tisch had become, in effect, the matriarch of the family. Lawrence Tisch died in 2003, his brother, in 2005. Billy Tisch would consult her husband regularly about professional matters, but she set her own agenda as a gracious, no-nonsense presence in the world of philanthropy. She was the first woman to be elected president of the Federation of Jewish Philanthropies, now UJA Federation of New York, an umbrella group that helps the poor and elderly, subsidize child care agencies and health programs, and sustains Jewish cultural programs, mostly in New York and in Israel, through affiliated agencies. She served from 1980 to 1983. Mrs. Tisch was also the chairman of the WNYC Foundation, which supports New York Public Radio, and vice chairman of United Way of New York City. When her husband turned 70, she replaced him on the board of the Carnegie Corporation of New York, the first wife to do so, she said, since the formidable Louise Whitfield Carnegie succeeded Andrew Carnegie, the corporation's founder. In 1992, she and Professor James Comer of Yale issued a Carnegie Corporation report on youth development and community organizations. Gordon S. Wood. Gordon S. Wood dies at 92. Gordon S. Wood, the eminent and prolific scholar, who forged a highly influential and sharply debated narrative of the country's early years of independence through such prize-winning works as The Creation of the American Republic and The Radicalism of the American Revolution, has died. He was 92. Wood, a professor emeritus at Brown University, died Sunday after being struck by a car in a supermarket parking lot in East Providence, Rhode Island, according to police. Author of dozens of books and essays, Wood never gained the mass audience of historians like David McCullough and Doris Kearns Goodwin, but his findings became standard references for discussions about the formation of the U.S. and the legacy of the revolution that continue as the country approaches its 250th anniversary. Many peers regarded the white-haired, mild-looking Wood as the embodiment of the learned, traditional historian, guided by facts rather than ideology. In 2011, President Barack Obama presented him a National Humanities Medal for scholarship that provides insight into the founding of the nation and the drafting of the U.S. Constitution. In recent years, younger academics increasingly alleged that Wood was too well established, the epitome of the old-school historian who minimized the lives of slaves, women and indigenous people. John L. Brooke, a history professor at Ohio State University, would fault him for a distinct avoidance of interpretative paradox and complexity, even as he cited Wood's scale and scholarly enterprise. In an email to the Associated Press, filmmaker Ken Burns praised Wood as a teacher of generations of students and other historians. Woody Holton, an author and historian who clashed at times with Wood, told the AP that he admired his willingness to encourage even a younger scholar like me who viewed the American Revolutionary era very differently from him. The tragic accident that killed him is especially heartbreaking in denying him, by less than a month, the chance to celebrate the country's 250th birthday. Anthony Guidera. Anthony Guidera dies at 65. Anthony Guidera, known for his work in The Godfather Part 3 and Species, died Saturday in a Los Angeles area hospital. He was 65. He had suffered a cardiac arrest in May and was on life support for 3 weeks, his wife confirmed to TMZ. It is with heavy hearts that we announce the sudden passing of our beloved Anthony, Valerie Anderson, Guidera's wife, wrote in a Facebook post shared Saturday. We are devastated and trying to breathe through the impossible, taking each moment as it comes. Please hold this eternal light in your hearts and our family in your prayers. The news was also confirmed by Astara, the spiritual foundation organization Guidera volunteered at. We are devastated and trying to breathe through the impossible, taking each moment as it comes. Guidera landed his first film role in Francis Ford Coppola's The Godfather Part 3, 1990, as Anthony the Bodyguard. He went on to cameo in Baywatch, 1993, Star Trek, Deep Space Nine, 1993, and Valley of the Dolls, 1994. For his role in Roger Donaldson's Species, 1995, he earned the MTV Movie Award for Best On-Screen Kiss with Natasha Henstridge. He went on to land roles in High Tide, 1995, The Rock, 1996, The Postman, 1997, Armageddon, 1998, The Good News, 1998, The Pretender, 1999, and The Annihilation of Fish, 1999. His last credits were an appearance in ER, 2001, and L.A. Dix, 2005. Guidera is survived by Anderson and their son, Nick. Guidera and Anderson were married for 20 years. Bob Packwood. Bob Packwood dies at 93. Bob Packwood, a longtime Oregon senator, who entered national politics young and ascended to the pinnacles of congressional power before his career ended in scandal, died Saturday. He was 93. Packwood died in a residential care facility in Southern California, where he and his wife rented a vacation home, according to one family friend. His family released an obituary to media outlets Saturday afternoon. It is with great sadness that I share the news that Senator Packwood passed away earlier today, Packwood's wife, Elaine Franklin, said in a statement from a private Facebook post that was also provided to OPB. He touched many lives and leaves behind a lasting legacy of public service. He will be deeply missed. A moderate Republican, Packwood spent decades in the Senate building a reputation for bucking his party's hardliners and for supporting women's rights. That included much heralded stances in favor of abortion rights and securing landmark federal protections for the Columbia River Gorge. But that reputation came crashing down in late 1992, just after Packwood had been re-elected to his fifth term in the Senate. The Washington Post published an investigation detailing allegations by former female staffers and others who described a decades-long pattern of forceful kissing and other sexual misconduct by the senator. Packwood kept congressional investigators at bay for years, while also serving in one of Washington, D.C.'s most powerful roles as chair of the Senate Finance Committee. But in 1995, he ran out of time. The Senate Ethics Committee voted to expel Packwood from the Senate, finding he had made unwanted advances toward more than a dozen women and tried to obstruct the investigation into his conduct. Packwood resigned the next day, but spoke to OPB in 2013 about the scandal. In the majority of the cases, I could not remember the woman, could not remember the incident, he said. In some cases, it was one time, one night. And all of the charges, save one, were over 10 years old. Steve Almaz. Steve Almaz dies at 69. Steve Almaz, the bassist and vocalist of pioneering Minneapolis punk band the Suicide Commandos, has died from complications of recurring cancer. He was 69. The news of his death was shared on the Suicide Commandos' social media accounts on June 5 in a post that reads, "Our pal Steve passed this afternoon after a long hard battle with cancer. Our hearts go out to Steve's sisters Janet and Judy, daughter Solveig and TJ, grandkids Sully and Loe, and Steve's dear angel Brandy. Love to all." The post also included a black and white photo of Almaz performing with the Commandos along with the words, "Rest in peace, Steve." Steve Almaz, August 6, 1956, June 5, 2026. We mourn the loss of our friend and bandmate. Though they only released 2 7-inch EPs and one album during their initial run from 1975-1980, the trio that also featured guitarist and vocalist Chris Osgood and drummer Dave Ahl was hugely influential, paving the way for future acclaimed Twin City rockers such as The Replacements, Husker Du, and Soul Asylum. After the band split, Almaz relocated to New York where he formed the Crackers, and worked with such indie rock stalwarts as Richard Barone of the Bongos and Mitch Easter, who would later produce REM and form Let's Active. Initially, Almaz recorded a 4-track EP titled Beat Rodeo with help from Barone and Easter. Later he formed a band called Beat Rodeo that landed a deal with IIS Records, the home of REM and the Go-Go's, after first signing with a German label. Though they only released 2 7-inch EPs and one album during their initial run from 1975-1980, the trio that also featured guitarist and vocalist Chris Osgood and drummer Dave Ahl was hugely influential, paving the way for future acclaimed Twin City rockers such as The Replacements, Husker Du, and Soul Asylum. After the band split, Almaz relocated to New York where he formed the Crackers, and worked with such indie rock stalwarts as Richard Barone of the Bongos and Mitch Easter, who would later produce REM and form Let's Active. Initially, Almaz recorded a 4-track EP titled Beat Rodeo with help from Barone and Easter. Talia Riley. Talia Riley dead at 35. The singer-songwriter Talia Riley, who wrote for artists like Dua Lipa, Britney Spears, and Her, died last week in a stabbing in East London. He was 35. According to a statement from the Metropolitan Police, Riley, real name Mark Yinka Orabii, was found in a garden with stab wounds around 9 a.m. local time on Friday. He was pronounced dead at the scene. A second victim in the stabbing attack, a man in his 20s, sustained injuries that were not considered life-threatening. Police arrested 3 people on suspicion of killing Orabii, with one released on bail pending further inquiries. The other 2 were released with no additional action taken. A detective for London's Metropolitan Police said the investigation continues at pace and called on anyone who was in the area or might have security footage to come forward with information. In a statement shared on Instagram, Riley's family and manager, Cleo Amadum, confirmed his death. Riley will fondly be remembered by those who knew him publicly for his incredible talent as a Grammy Award-winning, multi-platinum selling songwriter and artist. For those that knew and loved him personally, it is his humor, generous spirit, and unmistakable presence that will be missed the most. Riley's biggest credits as a songwriter include Dua Lipa's 2016 single Last Dance, Khaled's Young Dumb and Broke, and Her's Lights On. His work on that last one earned Riley his Grammy when the song appeared on Her's 2017 self-titled effort, which took home Best R&B Album at the 61st Grammys. Riley also contributed to Jessie J's Who's Laughing Now, Britney Spears' Clumsy, Jason Derulo's If It Ain't Love, and Nick Jonas' Levels. Riley broke through as both a songwriter and performer in 2009, thanks to his collaborations with the grime MC Chip. Riley co-wrote and was featured on several songs on Chip's debut, I Am Chipmunk, including Look For Me, which peaked at number 7 on the UK singles chart. A few years later, Riley notched a minor hit of his own with Make You Mine, which appeared on his own 2011 mixtape, Going to California. Eddie Haas. Eddie Haas dies at 91. Yesterday, it was reported that Eddie Haas, former Atlanta Braves manager and longtime member of the organization, passed away on June 4 at 91. Eddie has had a brief MLB career, debuting with the Chicago Cubs in 1957 and then playing in 41 games with the Milwaukee Braves across the 1958 and 1960 seasons. The outfielder hit his only career home run with the Braves in 1960. He twice played with the organization in the minors, including the last 3 seasons of his playing career, ending in 1964 at age 29 playing for the Braves' AAA affiliate in Denver. Haas transitioned to coaching after his playing career ended and debuted as manager with the Braves organization in 1966 in Yakima Valley. He'd manage each season in the Braves organization until 1973, when he transitioned to minor league hitting instructor. He joined Atlanta's major league staff in 1974 and spent 4 seasons with the big league club before returning the minor league managerial ranks in 1978. Haas would take over as manager at AAA Richmond in 1981, where he would manage until midway through the 1984 season, when he returned to the big leagues, joining manager Joe Torre's staff. After Torre was dismissed following the '84 season, the organization named the then 50-year-old Haas as Torre's replacement. Haas would spend only 121 games at the helm of Atlanta, going 50-71, before being relieved of his duties by Bobby Wine. Haas would remain in the game as a scout, joining the Montreal Expos organization in 1986, where he stayed through 1994 before joining the Boston Red Sox in 1995, where he'd work until retiring after the 2003 season. Bill Shanks was the first to report the news of Haas passing, which was first covered on the feed. Haas spent most of 3 decades in the Braves organization and dedicated more than 5 decades to the game as a player, coach, manager and scout. Patrick Godfrey. Patrick Godfrey dies at 93. Patrick Godfrey, an English actor who played Leonardo da Vinci in the 1998 fantasy film Ever After, A Cinderella Story, died on Thursday. He was 93. Godfrey's death was announced on June 5 via a statement from his talent agency, Markham Froggatt and Irwin. The statement read, "It is with great sadness that we can confirm Patrick Godfrey passed away last night. He died peacefully at home surrounded by his family. Paddy was an exceptionally talented actor and a remarkable individual, and we will miss him greatly." Godfrey starred as the Italian polymath in Ever After alongside Drew Barrymore, who played Cinderella stand-in Danielle. Other cast members include Angelica Huston, Doug Ray Scott, Megan Dodds, Melanie Linsky, Timothy West and Judy Parfitt. Some of Godfrey's other notable film credits include A Room with a View, Clockwise, Maurice, The Count of Monte Cristo, Oliver Twist, Les Miserables, and Mowgli, Legend of the Jungle. On the TV side, Godfrey appeared in Compact, Dixon of Dock Green, Doctor Who, Z Cars, The Life and Adventures of Nicholas Nickleby, Blot on the Landscape, Screenplay, Dandelion Dead, and dozens more. Godfrey was born in February 1933 in Finsbury Park, England. In 1956, he broke into entertainment by joining the BBC's radio drama company. Then, in 1972, he made his film debut as a house servant in a televised production of John Glenister and Robin Phillips' Miss Julie by the Royal Shakespeare Company. His next film role came in 1981, when he played Cooligan in Trevor Nunn's The Three Sisters. Michael J. Fox. Today is Michael J. Fox's birthday. Michael J. Fox was born Michael Andrew Fox on June 9, 1961 in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, to Phyllis Fox, née Piper, a payroll clerk, and William Fox. His parents moved their 10-year-old son, his three sisters, Kelly Fox, Karen, and Jackie, and his brother Stephen, to Vancouver, British Columbia, after his father, a sergeant in the Canadian Army Signal Corps, retired. During these years Michael developed his desire to act. At 15 he successfully auditioned for the role of a 10-year-old in a series called Leo and Me, 1978. Gaining attention as a bright new star in Canadian television and movies, Michael realized his love for acting when he appeared on stage in The Shadow Box. At 18 he moved to Los Angeles and was offered a few television series roles, but soon they stopped coming and he was surviving on boxes of macaroni and cheese. Then his agent called to tell him that he got the part of Alex P. Keaton on the situation comedy Family Ties, 1982. He starred in the feature films Teen Wolf, 1985, High School USA, 1983, Poison Ivy, 1985, and Back to the Future, 1985. Negotiated the deal for Family Ties, 1982, from a phone booth outside a now defunct Pioneer Chicken restaurant in Hollywood because he had no phone at home. He was told the network would need to call, and he said he was only home between the hours of 4 and 5. He waited for the call, and fortunately he was there to answer it and secure the sitcom role. Has forbidden any of his children to quit high school for Hollywood, demanding that they at least finish high school and maybe attend 1-2 years of college. On account of his suffering from Parkinson's disease, during his run on Spin City, 1996, he often hid his left hand in his pocket. Fox has often recounted that when he went to tell one of his teachers that he was about to drop out of high school to pursue an acting career, the teacher told him, "Fox, you're not going to be cute forever." To which Fox responded, "Maybe just long enough, sir." When he retold the story on David Letterman's show in 2011, Fox added, "It turns out we were both right." Johnny Depp. Today is Johnny Depp's birthday. John Christopher Johnny Depp II was born on June 9, 1963 in Owensboro, Kentucky, to Betty Sue Palmer, née Wells, a waitress, and John Christopher Depp, a civil engineer. He was raised in Florida. He dropped out of school when he was 15, and fronted a series of music garage bands, including one named The Kids. When he married Laurie A. Depp, he took a job as a ballpoint pen salesman to support himself and his wife. A visit to Los Angeles, California, with his wife, however, happened to be a blessing in disguise, when he met up with actor Nicolas Cage, who advised him to turn to acting, which culminated in Depp's film debut in the low-budget horror film A Nightmare on Elm Street, 1984, where he played a teenager who falls prey to dream-stalking demon Freddy Krueger. In 1987 he shot to stardom when he replaced Jeff Yager in the role of undercover cop Tommy Hansen in the popular TV series 21, Jump Street, 1987. In 1990, after numerous roles in teen-oriented films, his first of a handful of great collaborations with director Tim Burton came about when Depp played the title role in Edward Scissorhands, 1990. Following the film's success, Depp carved a niche for himself as a serious, somewhat dark, idiosyncratic performer, consistently selecting roles that surprised critics and audiences alike. He continued to gain critical acclaim and increasing popularity by appearing in many features before rejoining with Burton in the lead role of Ed Wood, 1994. In 1997 he played an undercover FBI agent in the fact-based film Donnie Brasco, 1997, opposite Al Pacino. In 1998 he appeared in Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, 1998, directed by Terry Gilliam, and then, in 1999, he appeared in the sci-fi horror film The Astronaut's Wife, 1999. The same year he teamed up again with Burton in Sleepy Hollow, 1999, brilliantly portraying Ichabod Crane. Depp has played many characters in his career, including another fact-based one, INSP, Fred Aberline in From Hell, 2001. He stole the show from screen greats such as Antonio Banderas in the finale to Robert Rodriguez's Mariachi trilogy, Once Upon a Time in Mexico, 2003. In that same year he starred in the marvelous family blockbuster Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl, 2003, playing a character that only the likes of Depp could pull off, the charming, conniving and roguish Captain Jack Sparrow. The film's enormous success has opened several doors for his career and included an Oscar nomination. He appeared as the central character in the Stephen King-based movie, Secret Window, 2004, as the kind-hearted novelist James Barrie in the factually based Finding Neverland, 2004, where he co-starred with Kate Winslet, and Rochester in the British film, The Libertine, 2004. Depp collaborated again with Burton in a screen adaptation of Roald Dahl's novel, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, 2005, and later in Alice in Wonderland, 2010, and Dark Shadows, 2012. Off-screen, Depp has dated several female celebrities, and has been engaged to Sherilyn Fenn, Jennifer Grey, Winona Ryder, and Kate Moss. He was married to Laurie and Allison in 1983, but divorced her in 1985. Depp has 2 children with his former longtime partner, French singer, actress Vanessa Paradis, Lily Rose Melody, born in 1999, and John Christopher Jack III, born in 2002. He married actress and producer Amber Heard in 2015, divorcing a few years later. IMDb mini biography by Mike Davies 86 and Siddhartha Shankar.